Does it happen to you that many times you have something very important to do, something that you really want and you have to get done, but you just can't seem to focus, to concentrate, to sit still and do that important thing? If that's the case, then this video is for you. My name is Untitled Chapter, and I help people fulfill their destiny. I'm not talking only to people that have been diagnosed with ADHD or that have those symptoms, although I have been diagnosed myself, but I have found a way to integrate that in a beautiful way in my life. But even if you don't, and sometimes you feel that, it may be something different that you may expect. The main reason for which we find it very hard to focus, to concentrate, to just sit down and do that very important thing that we're supposed to do is that there is a very strong pain that we feel when we think about that activity. Most of the time, really most of the time, what is behind that pain, it's something that it's not real. It's something that our mind makes it to seem so big, so dangerous, so incredibly painful that it's not really like that. For example, let's say that you have to call a potential customer, someone that could bring you so much business. But you just feel that pain when you think about calling it. And what do you do when that pain shows up? You're going to notice that no matter the reason, no matter what you're trying to do, how it manifests is that you're just simply running from that activity. You're trying to do something else. Now, this case, when let's say there is a big potential customers, what is the pain behind it? It may be the fear of rejection. It may be that you're thinking that they may not consider you good enough. They would say something to you and you would feel ashamed or you would feel embarrassed. Or it may be that you're afraid that they're going to refuse your offer and that it's going to tell you that you're too expensive for the market, and then you're going to have to change your entire business model or something like that. It may be that you're thinking that they might tell other people something about you in the middle of the conversation. Maybe you think something about yourself, that you're not dressing properly or something, or that you have an accent or something, and maybe you're thinking that they might notice that and they're going to tell other people and you're going to feel again embarrassed. See how interesting it is? All these are reasons that when you bring them into your awareness, you realize, is this truly a reason why I wouldn't talk to this potential customer that can bring me so much business? Obviously it's not, but it doesn't really matter, because your mind, the thoughts that you have in your mind, is rooted in some beliefs that have been constructing from childhood. Over time, they don't have to make sense right now. At a point they did make sense, and that reminiscence, it's still there. Now, normally there are some very well-known methods to shift those beliefs, to change those beliefs. You have to just sit down to really understand what's going on, to sit in that moment with the feeling that you have, to go back and to articulate exactly what is that belief. Yes, it is the fact that I'm embarrassed of them noticing my accent and telling others. Now, because our mind knows that it's something painful, it doesn't even give us the opportunity to sit down, analyze, realize the belief behind it, so then we can have the opportunity to say, oh, but that's not actually true. It's ridiculous, right? So yeah, it's not true. I'm going to go ahead and call them. And I'm going to go ahead and call them. The mind doesn't even give you the opportunity, because when the pain shows up, it's something so instinctive for our body that our mind is simply trying to avoid it right away. Now, how can we do that? How can we overcome this situation? How can we just sit down, stop, not have our mind run right away to a different activity to avoid the pain? How can we do it? Well, here's what I noticed. I was talking at a point with my therapist, with my emotional coach, and I was telling him, listen, when I talk to you, I can talk about the most difficult things in my business. It's interesting, right? You're my emotional coach. And here I am, when we have this call, I come up with so many business ideas, with so many business, breakthroughs as I'm talking to you. And I'm curious, why is that? It's so easy to talk to you. And right away he said, well, it's because once you start talking to me, your mind starts to sit still. When you start saying the words, when you start speaking, your mind is in a way listening to what you're saying, and it's making sense. And because it's making sense, the way that you analyze, the way that you realize that it's not true what you have been believing, your mind calms down because it notices, oh, it's not true what I've been believing, right? So when you speak with your mouth the words, Or maybe when you start writing down what's in your mind, what you're encountering, that painful situation that you're into, when you simply start describing it in writing or with your words, your mind settles down. Why? Because your mind now is paying attention to the words that you're saying. Your mind is paying attention to the words that you're writing. It's about the focus that the mind has in that moment. It cannot just simply run right away. Why? Because when you speak, your brain, your mind is focused on the words that you're saying. So he said, it's not necessarily that it's something very special about me that you're opening up and talking to me, my emotional coach, Soren said. It's just simply that you are speaking with somebody. And we are speaking with somebody, or when you're writing on something, your mind is focused and it's calm. It's listening to it. When you're just thinking the thoughts, when you're just thinking, I should call that client, or I should do that activity, I should go to the gym or whatever. When you're just thinking, it's so easy for the mind to bring other thoughts right away so that it avoids the pain. But when you're starting saying the words, or when you're writing, or when you're speaking to somebody, your mind is way more focused and it's starting to feel way more objective, and it's starting to give it time and to calm down. So here's my advice for you. If this happens to you, if you indeed feel that you run many times from activities that feel like painful, but they're so important for you, I would say at least start speaking with yourself about it. Just start talking about it, or at least try to journal. Try to write down what you should be doing. That's why when I plan my day now, I write down exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and as I'm writing down, I'm telling a story that, oh, I will be calling that client, and as he's gonna pick up, I'm gonna tell him these words, and I'm gonna feel so good. So once you step into, like in a movie, you're starting to feel that there's no pain in actually doing it. When you have a team, like I've managed so many teams and I still manage so many teams, and when you have those morning huddles or something like that, again, when you say the words and they're listening, you're paying way more attention and your mind slows down. In Germany or Japan, or I don't remember exactly, when the train comes into the station, the engineers say the words, we are arriving, or we are departing, or we have checked this, we have checked this. So they say the words. Why? Because when you say those words, your mind is paying way more attention to what you are actually doing. When you're just thinking it, it's easy to get distracted. But when you're saying the words, your mind collapses its attention into what you're doing. You know what's interesting is that I believe that this is in a way key to also manifesting things in your life. Because when you're just having thoughts and desires and they just feel like, oh, this is too good to be true. Oh, I can't actually achieve that, right? So all these things come so fast that you don't have time to sit down and shift those beliefs that are keeping you from actually achieving what you want or manifesting what you want. But once you write things down, or once you speak to somebody, once you say the words, your mind is going to calm down and is going to create a scenario that actually makes sense. It's going to create the scenario in our mind. It's going to create the story, the reality that you want in a way that it actually makes sense. It's going to work on itself and it's going to develop all this story that it's starting to make sense, rather than just saying, oh no, it's too hard. Oh no, you don't have the money. When you're writing it or when you're saying it and you say, I want and I need this money. Oh, and then I'm going to find a way to get that money. It's very important to speak with somebody or to talk to yourself, but articulate the words or to write it down. And you're going to see that things are going to fall into place. It's going to get so much easier for you to focus on get things done. And I'm going to let you in a secret, and I'm going to do a separate video completely about it. Nothing that we're supposed to do within a day, no tasks, nothing, no activity is hard in itself. Hard is just a belief that we've implemented in our mind. It's like a lens that we're translating the activities that we're supposed to do. Once you realize and you listen to the pain and you go back and you understand when that belief that it's hard and what is the root belief that is making you think that it's hard. What do you think you're going to be losing? What are you afraid of not getting? When you realize that there's nothing to lose, that you've got everything actually, then nothing becomes hard anymore. If you enjoyed this video, if this was helpful for you, subscribe to my channel and let let this be one of the beautiful things that are going to improve your life and help you fulfill your destiny.